Welcome to World Code Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Washington, D.C., July 10, 2025. The news broke like a sudden storm, catching families off guard and sending ripples of anxiety across the nation. The Nuclear Family Priority Act, signed this morning, is sending shockwaves through America, dominating headlines and sparking urgent conversations in living rooms everywhere. Its name sounds wholesome, almost comforting, but for millions, especially Filipino Americans, it's a crisis that strikes at the heart of what family means. The law claims to streamline immigration and prioritize the so-called core family unit, but its definition is narrow, leaving many loved ones outside its boundaries. But for families who have waited years, sometimes decades, it means the dream of reunification is suddenly in danger, slipping away just as it seemed within reach. Phone lines between the U.S. and Manila are filled with frantic questions and fears as families scramble to understand what the new law means for their futures. In kitchens from California to New York, families gather around screens, faces lit by the cold glow of the news, searching for hope in the uncertainty. A mother in San Diego, a nurse, was months away from bringing her parents to meet their grandchildren. Now, that promise is gone, replaced by heartbreak and unanswered questions. A father in Chicago, a veteran who served this country, wonders if he'll ever see his siblings again on American soil, or if his family will remain divided by borders. This isn't just policy. It's a deeply personal blow, a wound that cuts through generations and leaves families reeling. What happens to applications pending for years? Are they simply erased, the hopes and sacrifices behind them forgotten overnight? The government offers few answers, speaking of efficiency, not the human cost, sidestepping the pain felt in thousands of homes. They don't mention the grandparents who help raise children, or the siblings who provide support, or the aunts and uncles who are the backbone of extended families. For Filipinos, family is everything. This law redefines family in a way that feels alien, erasing bonds that have always been cherished. These are our neighbors, our colleagues, our friends, the nurses, the business owners, the Americans whose families are now at risk. Their hearts are breaking and their futures are uncertain. And they're asking, why is the country they love, the country they serve, suddenly tearing their families apart? We must listen to their stories, to the voices that too often go unheard in the rush of political change. We must understand what is at stake, not just for one community, but for the soul of a nation built on the promise of family and belonging. This is a moment of truth, a test of our values and our compassion. Will we look beyond headlines and see the people affected? Will we choose empathy, or will we turn away? The Nuclear Family Priority Act narrows the definition of family for immigration. Only spouses and minor children of citizens and permanent residents are prioritized. For Filipinos, family is a constellation: grandparents, siblings, adult children, all under one roof. The law slams the door on these extended family members. Visa categories for parents, adult children, and siblings are being eliminated or severely restricted. Families who followed every rule, spent years and thousands of dollars, are told their wait was for nothing. This isn't just policy, it's an attack on a cultural foundation. By severing these ties, the law misunderstands the social fabric that lets Filipino Americans thrive. It creates a colder, more isolated version of the American dream. The pain of this law is rooted in a long, intertwined history between the Philippines and the U.S. Filipinos have come for generations, first as workers, then as professionals, building lives and communities. Family reunification was always the promise that made sacrifice bearable. The 1965 Immigration Act opened doors for skilled workers, especially nurses, who left families behind with hope of reunification. They built communities, sponsored relatives, and created vibrant enclaves in cities across America. The ability to bring over parents, siblings, and adult children was essential. This law feels like a betrayal, welcoming Filipino labor, but not their families. Filipino nurses have cared for America's most vulnerable. In return, they asked for one thing: to be with their families. Denying that now cuts deep into the heart of this community. The law's impact goes beyond U.S. borders. It threatens the economic lifeline of remittances. Filipinos in America send money home, supporting food, education, and healthcare for entire families. The family-based immigration system fueled this flow. Now, the law disrupts it. Cutting off family migration chokes vital economic support. The consequences for the Philippines could be severe: less spending, more hardship, and failing small businesses. This U.S. law could create real hardship for people thousands of miles away. For Filipino Americans, providing for family back home is a source of pride and duty. This law separates them physically and hinders their ability to care financially. The hidden cost is anxiety, heartache, and economic pain. The Nuclear Family Priority Act makes sweeping changes to family-based visas. The F4 visa for siblings of U.S. citizens is eliminated, devastating for Filipinos with close sibling ties. F3 and F1 visas for adult children are slashed, with stricter requirements that disqualify many. The F2B category for unmarried adult children of permanent residents faces deep cuts. The IR5 visa for parents isn't eliminated, but new financial requirements make it out of reach for many. These changes hit Filipinos hardest, as they make up a large share of applicants. The rules have changed mid-play, and for many, it feels like the door has slammed shut. For hundreds of thousands, the dream of family reunification is slipping away. To truly understand the real cost, you have to look beyond the statistics and see the faces behind the numbers, the families whose lives are forever changed. Maria, a nurse in Las Vegas, left her sons in Cebu, working tirelessly for years to bring them to America, hoping for a better future together. Their visa applications were in the final stages, so close to approval. Now, everything is in jeopardy, and their dreams hang in the balance. Her sons, both skilled professionals with bright futures, may never join her in the country she now calls home. Maria's sacrifice feels wasted. Her dream of a reunited family, once so close, now seems shattered and out of reach. Lolo Kiko, an 80-year-old grandfather in Manila, was supposed to join his daughter in Houston to spend his final years surrounded by loved ones. New financial requirements may keep him apart from his family forever, forcing him to live out his days alone, far from those he loves. These are not isolated stories. There are hundreds of thousands like them, each one a story of hope and heartbreak. Families who played by the rules, who followed every step, now face heartbreak and uncertainty. Their lives are thrown into chaos by a law written by people who will never feel this pain, who may never understand the consequences. This is a story of interrupted dreams and promises broken, of families left waiting and wondering if they'll ever be whole again. Families are being torn apart, not by choice, but by policy, by decisions made far away from their everyday lives. The cost is measured in lost time, lost hope, and lost family, a price that can never truly be repaid. The law's announcement sparked immediate opposition. Immigration lawyers and advocacy groups call it cruel and misguided. Attorney Arlene Santos says family-based migration creates stable communities. Separating families creates instability. The National Federation of Filipino American Associations condemns the law, highlighting Filipino contributions to healthcare. We care for America's families. We ask only to care for our own. Community groups are mobilizing, organizing town halls, and informing the public. Business leaders warn that cutting family migration means losing future entrepreneurs and workers. The economic argument for the law ignores the long-term benefits immigrants bring. Faith leaders frame the issue as one of dignity and compassion. The message is clear. This law is an attack on families and a betrayal of American values. Beyond legal and economic impacts lies hidden pain. The emotional toll on Filipino Americans is immense. Years of hope are replaced by despair and anxiety. Mental health struggles are rising. Anxiety, depression, survivor's guilt. Those with petitions in limbo feel personal failure, though they did nothing wrong. Children lose connections to grandparents and heritage. Adult children in the Philippines feel abandoned, creating painful rifts. This is a public health crisis in the making. The Filipino spirit is resilient, but even the strongest can be worn down by endless grief. We must acknowledge these scars and create spaces for healing. A community's strength is in its ability to heal together. In this crisis, despair is not an option. Even when fear and uncertainty weigh heavily on our hearts, we must not give in. Now is the time for action and unity. We must come together, stronger than ever, to protect what matters most. Our most powerful weapon is our stories. Make lawmakers see the faces, hear the voices, and feel the pain and hope of our families. Get informed, stay connected, and join community efforts. Knowledge and solidarity are our shields. The Filipino spirit of working together has never been more vital. Every act of kindness and support strengthens our cause. Use your voice, call, write, and share your story with representatives. Your words can spark change and inspire others. Support organizations fighting for families. Every donation, every hour volunteered makes a difference. If you can vote, make this a defining issue at the polls. Let your vote speak for those who cannot. This is a fight for the heart and soul of America. A fight for the principle that families belong together no matter what. The road ahead is hard, but the Filipino community is resilient. We have always found strength in each other. We have overcome before, and we will again. Our history is proof of our courage and perseverance. Let us raise our voices in a chorus that cannot be ignored. Together, we are powerful. Let us fight for our parents, children, and siblings. Let us stand up for every family facing separation. Let us fight for our dignity and our families. Our unity is our greatest strength. Together, we can turn heartbreak into hope. Our future depends on what we do today.